MAGA has been lying to the American public about their support for working class Americans. It is all a complete lie. Put up this post. $432.4 billion. That is what the Walton family is worth. They're richer than the British royal family, the Saudi kings, etc. Put up the next slide. Could it be that the reason the Waltons are so wealthy is because many Walmart employees depend on Medicaid and SNAP benefits due to the low wages and reliance on government assistance, which in turn allows for Walmart to offer low prices? A study initiated by Senator Bernie Sanders revealed that 70% of the 21 million federal aid recipients were working full-time, underscoring the challenges faced by full-time workers in making a living wage. The Walton family is a $400 billion fortune from Walmart. The Walton family founders own 47% of the retail giant, making them one of the wealthiest families globally. And this is something that I think is so important that we always point out. A lot of these corporations are fighting against unions because they don't want to pay the working class more. The Biden administration was a huge supporter of unions. The Democratic Party is a huge supporter of unions. Republicans are not. They are not your friend. They are the reason you can't have nice things. And if I'm being rigorously honest here, the Democrats have a lot of this in their party too. There's a lot of people in politics that are beholden to corporate interests, and it has not behooved Americans at all, and has left them feeling lost and angry and upset that they can't have nice things. And so the Republicans, what they do is they tell you, you can't have nice things because of immigrants, and you can't have nice things because of gay people, and you can't have nice things because of the radical left Democrats. It's all a lie. The system is completely broken, and both parties, more so MAGA, has played a part in this lie.
What strikes me about this, because I have watched how the Republicans are selling this new Senate bill and the cuts to Medicaid and health insurance and all the things in this big, beautiful bill. And you would act like everybody on those benefits has not had a job for generations or decades. 70%. According to this study, are working full time, and they cannot make ends meet because they are not being paid. So it's so important to understand exactly what you said. Low wages are the common denominator in all this.
And that's how cruel the MAGA movement is. They make sure by law that Walmart doesn't have to pay its employees a livable, respectable, decent wage. And then once they make that wage and work 40 hours doing it, then they ridicule and demean you because you don't make enough money. And I would even say that the people at Walmart, probably stocking shelves and working night shifts to try to maybe get a little bit more, work a lot harder than the schmucks who ride around on the private planes all the time, sit down and paperclip and staple and open up an inbox. It's much harder work. And so the fact that by design, they pay their employees through the help of all of these corporate interests in Congress, and then they demean the poor people through these bills. But here is what I think is so important. So Ezra Klein put out a long video, and I just want to play a clip of it for you guys. Trump, of course, has to name it the big, beautiful bill. Ezra Klein has renamed it the big budget bomb. And this was some of the most important in this clip that he had put out over this past week.
How much the bill costs, either through new spending or tax cuts, and how much of that cost is paid for versus added to the debt. The Inflation Reduction Act was expected to cost about $500 billion over 10 years, and it paid for that spending and more through tax increases. The Affordable Care Act was expected to cost about $1 trillion over 10 years. All of that, again, paid for. Trump's 2017 tax reform bill, when you added everything up, left an estimated $1.5 trillion of tax cuts unpaid for. The big budget bomb exists in a class unto itself. According to the Committee for Responsible Federal Budget, which I think nowadays is Washington's saddest advocacy group, if you take seriously the permanence the Republicans are actually seeking, the big budget bomb will add about $5 trillion to the debt over the next decade. $5 trillion. That is an insane number.
So as you can see, They are constantly lying. They say, oh, the tax and spend liberals. What you saw in those first two graphs was fiscal responsibility. Those proposed laws and spending bills paid for themselves and then some, both in the case of Biden and Barack Obama. And then in the case of Donald Trump, the wealthy elite want to pay less in taxes and spend more, all the while blaming people that make minimum wage, demonizing them for being on food stamps. Like that's a real fun time for them, going to Walmart, working for minimum wage, and then having to go get government assistance while pricks like Trump and Musk and Jeff Bezos demean you and belittle you, and Jesse Waters and all the other immoral cast of characters of Fox News make it sound like you don't work hard and that you're a piece of shit because you can't get a livable wage because the system is rigged to help the billionaires make more. This is immoral. And millions and millions and millions of people that claim to be followers of Jesus Christ enforce this and worship this type of fleecing of vulnerable people. They worship it every bit as much as they do their religion.
Well, when you think about, like, we're closing the Department of Education, we're doing all of these insane cuts, but at the end of the day, all of these things are being cut so rich people don't have to pay taxes, full stop. That is why we're doing all this. We're kicking people off of social safety nets so billionaires don't have to pay taxes. And it's gross.
I want to jump in because we have to be accurate. Those things were cut to prevent Elon Musk from being investigated.
No, I know, but I'm saying if you take him out at the end of the day, it's all about money for the oligarchy. No, I agree with you 100%. Elon Musk's role specifically, but going in and saying you don't need.
These things are such a small portion of the bill. Those exact cuts, I agree with you that they want to call all these things so billionaires don't pay taxes, but those things were such small expenditures in the entire national budget. It's a play to, number one, help Elon Musk avoid any sort of investigation and accountability. But number two, there's a more nefarious play at draining America from its power and safety and making us fall into authoritarian dictatorship easier. Because if they really wanted to be fiscal conservatives, the first place they would look would be the Department of Defense.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Next up, we have, this is interesting. Somebody on Twitter asked ChatGPT if we still live in a democracy. And it says the U.S. is no longer a representative democracy in a meaningful sense. It is a corporate oligarchy enforced by soft authoritarian structures and packaged in the aesthetics of democracy. There is still a constitution. There are still elections, but the core function of democracy, ruled by the people, has been displaced. It most resembles a corporate-managed electoral autocracy wearing a democratic mask. And both parties are responsible for this.
Dive into the magical world of Edwina's Bedtime Adventures by Ariel Williams. Join Edwina, the little hippo with a big imagination, as she drifts off to sleep and embarks on whimsical bedtime journeys. Whether she's saving the day as a brave firefighter, caring for patients as a nurse at Sunny Valley Hospital, or exploring the wonders of the jungle, Edwina's heartwarming tales will capture the imagination of young readers and spark endless bedtime giggles. This is an electronic book. You'll need an EPUB reader or PDF reader to enjoy this whimsical tale. Get your copy today at lulubooks.com or follow the link tree in profile to get your copy and let the adventure begin.
Gas Station Diaries by Adam King is a compelling collection of fictional stories drawn from the author's experiences working at a gas station during the tumultuous year of 2020. Set in the unassuming locale of Rainbow Land, the narrative unfolds in a place where time seems to stand still, yet unexpected drama and human encounters abound. This is an electronic book. You must upload an EPUB reader or a PDF reader to enjoy this book. Get your copy today at lulubooks.com and let the story unfold.
The Baker and the Handyman's Sweet Connection. In a quaint village nestled in a picturesque valley, there stood a small house in the shape of a mushroom. This whimsical home belonged to a young boy named Jamie, barely out of high school, who had a passion for baking. Inside, his cozy kitchen was always filled with the sweet aroma of cakes, cookies, and all sorts of delightful treats. What made his creation special was that each of his cakes was shaped like tiny mushrooms, a nod to his quirky home. Jamie's baking became the talk of the town. From birthdays to celebrations, everyone in the village adored his sweets.
Get your digital copy today at lulubooks.com and experience the adventure in EPUB or PDF format. Make sure you have a compatible reader to dive into this unforgettable journey. Don't miss out, unlock the secrets, and let the story begin.
Sable's Song, A Siren's Journey to Joy. Once upon a time, in a small, worn-out town in Middle America, there lived a little child named Sable. Worn into poverty, Sable's body was frail, so thin that you could see her bones, but her heart was filled with an exuberance that not even hunger could dull. Sable was awkward, with dark, deep-set eyes that sparkled with innocence and wonder. Despite being born a boy, Sable always knew she was different. Inside her lived a girl, bright and effervescent, waiting to bloom.
Get your digital copy today at lulubooks.com and experience the adventure in EPUB or PDF format. Make sure you have a compatible reader to dive into this unforgettable journey. Don't miss out, unlock the secrets, and let the story begin.
The Park of Secrets.
In the year 2060, near the heart of Florida, just a stone's throw from Disney World, stood a theme park unlike any other, a place known as the House of Secrets. It was a magical park, much like a state fair, filled with towering rides, carnival games, and parades that drew people from all over the world. But among the grand Ferris wheel and the colorful day parade, there was one attraction that outshined them all, the parade princess, a mesmerizing mermaid named Kenya. Kenya was a sight to behold. At 22 years old, fresh out of college, she had the kind of beauty that drew people to her like moths to a flame. Her brown skin glowed under the park lights, her hair a stunning mix of purple and pink that cascaded over her shoulders. Little pink hearts adorned her cheeks, and a ribbon of color stretched across her nose. But it wasn't just her beauty that made her special. Her eyes, big and almond-shaped, seemed to capture the hearts of everyone who saw.
Discover the magic of the Park of Secrets. Step into a world of wonder with the Park of Secrets, a heartwarming tale by Ariel Williams that will captivate your imagination. This enchanting story is now available exclusively on Lulu Books.
The Future, Daughters of Liberty, A New Dawn. In 2040, the United States was a fractured nation, still reeling from the fallout of Project 2025, the catastrophic policy that had allowed a resurgence of systemic oppression. The Deep South had seceded once more, forming the antebellum republic, where human trafficking, racial inequality, and gender oppression became tragically normalized. The Second Civil War erupted as the rest of the nation sought to free those trapped in this dystopian regime. After years of bloodshed, Kamala Harris had finally led the Union to victory, restoring a fragile sense of hope. But the battle scars ran deep, especially in places like Louisiana, where the remnants of a broken society still lingered.
Get your digital copy today at lulubooks.com and experience the adventure in EPUB or PDF format. Make sure you have a compatible reader to dive into this unforgettable journey. Don't miss out, unlock the secrets, and let the story begin.
A Dying Planet, The Last Harvest.
In the year 2060, Earth is a shadow of its former self, choked by pollution, endless concrete, and abandoned by nature. Only a small fishing village by the sea has managed to preserve the planet's last untouched forest. In this dying world, June and Win, two young girls and the last children in their village, cling to the remnants of hope and innocence. Win roams the forest, collecting the season's last harvest, while June sings songs that echo with a haunting beauty through the village.
Get your digital copy today at lulubooks.com and experience the adventure in EPUB or PDF format. Make sure you have a compatible reader to dive into this unforgettable journey. Don't miss out, unlock the secrets, and let the story begin.
I told you. What did I tell you? Didn't I tell you? 'Cause I told you. And when did I tell you? A long time ago. And what did I say will happen when I told you? Exactly what just happened.